What's up, you guys? So, today I am going to bring my thoughts, feelings, opinion, reaction to that one guy who was trending about a week ago because he got angry at a bagel shop and he is a very, very short guy. So the way I am going to go about this is I'll have an article up just to sort of remember what the story really was because I don't want to miss anything. But also, I wasn't planning on going over this, but I thought that the situation was kind of hilarious enough for me to warrant turning this into a topic because there is some stuff that I find noteworthy. I'm still having those reception problems, but this is someone who is clearly lacking self confidence, and I can feel sympathetic for him in that department because if you have something physically going on when it comes to the dating game. Honestly, I don't know what type of advice I would give this guy, except look, if you think that you're being rejected because women don't find you attractive, women are getting involved with you because that clearly shows how fake and intolerant they are. Like, it's all right for you to have your preferences. I have my preferences, but would you really want to be stuck to someone who is with you even though they don't really like you because maybe you are a good provider, but apparently you are, or you could be a good provider, but no one has given you a chance? I just think that you are really freeing yourself from a lot of problems. Like, honestly, there's the wrong reasons. So even if it takes you being in your 50s, at least when the opportunity arrives, I guess embrace it. But I guess it's easy for me to say because even though I have had personal self-esteem problems, that has never really kept me from living my life. Like, when I was in middle school, I used to be the ugliest girl in every classroom. And eventually, I just grew up and I said, what would make me feel happy? I was presenting myself in a way that wasn't my own doing. Like, in middle school, I'm not saying that my mom didn't know how to dress me or how to brush my hair or style it or whatever, but that was not me taking care of my own image and presenting myself. I was the work of. So as I got older, in high school, I was still the ugliest person because I just did not care about what I wore, what brand it was, what color it was, how tight it was, and I was not someone who showed skin. And I do not have inferiority complexes about my physical shape as being that person who's like skinny fat. Like, if I have my back turned, I look skinny, but I actually have had a gut all this time. I didn't let that get in my way. And also, I don't know what it was about the people I went to school with, but people were not fans of my hair. They kept saying, "Oh, you should straighten it. Oh my god, a few times that you have straightened it, you look so much better." And I'm thinking, I could let that influence me and make me feel like I'm unacceptable unless I meet a certain criteria as to what I wear, how I fix myself, and whatnot. But I refuse to let others tell me that that's what's right. If that condemns me to be single forever, then I will be grateful for the fact that I am not dating a guy who's with me just for the fun of my looks for maybe 10 years until I start getting old and wrinkly and fat, and then they decide to dump me because they were with me just to get action. See what I mean? So that's where something I bring up in the channel a lot, which is your values. That's a perfect example of an issue in which you have to define what it is that's important for you. Because if you're going to be in a relationship and be involved with someone who's only going to add drama to your life, and you're going to be complaining about that drama, I cannot feel sympathetic for you. But anyways, let's continue with the story, just in case you're not aware of what happened. And then the guy was mad, and he apparently has a habit of regularly just going off on women, because apparently, according to him, people just like giggle to themselves over how short he is, and on dating profiles he maybe has tried to make a move on women and he gets rejected because he's too short. And then they go shop, and then the guy presented himself like he's a bully, and what can I say? He has a YouTube channel and he has accumulated more, but he has videos that definitely do not present him as a saint. To me, this guy is not a victim. He is a victim of his own complex. But when it comes to me personally trying to think critically, I think the reason women, if this is, assuming this is true, which I'm pretty sure it is true because, being involved in woman to woman conversations, nobody ever says that they prefer a short guy. Well, I hate to break it to you, but from what I understand, being tall is associated with being strong, robust, a good provider, a good protector, a guy who is intimidating. If you're in company of a person who's a giant like that, and God forbid if he's ripped, people are less likely or mess with you. And those traits are also deemed as more attractive. They are not accidentally deemed as more attractive. It is just something that we tend to gravitate towards. And it seems to be an innate thing. I personally have always preferred for guys to be taller than me. And I have even jokingly said when I was a teenager, I said, if a guy is significantly shorter than me, there's no way I am going to take him seriously. But of course, I was young and I had like specifications of what my ideal guy might look like. But fortunately, I grew up and I became mature and I said, you know what? If I have those petty standards, there's no way that I am going to live a happy and fulfilling life. Because I should not judge someone on what they genetically inherited. Like, I think that everyone has their own worth, and maybe the person who's like a complete wee man, that may be the person who actually makes me happy and actually makes me value them, and I fall for that person and I have absolutely no control over that. So I would not want for me to be rejected because I don't know what could be my flaw, because I'm too fat. Let's say that I'm too fat for a person's standards, even though for some people I'm actually pretty slim. For some people I'm in thick territory. For some people I'm pushing it, like I might be heavier than they prefer. So for me personally, if I saw him and I were asked, hey, is this someone who has traits that you deem as attractive, I would be like, no. First of all, he's too old for me, and second of all, he's too short for me. And it's not that I have anything against short guys, it's just that my picture of my ideal guy is typically one who is taller than me, or about my same height but still somehow taller. That's just my personal preference. If you're asking me how I would be visually pleased for the rest of my life, short guy is not going to be my answer. And it's not going to be for a ton of other women. But I'm pretty sure that there's a woman out there who would be cool with having a guy who's just like her, 5 foot tall, 5 feet tall, or maybe even shorter than them, like significantly shorter than them. I am not that person. But again, if this is a guy who absolutely just sweeps me off my feet, then okay, great, it happened. I was wrong. And it turns out that my ideal image that I had for a guy is actually insignificant at this point. Wish that this guy would kind of think that way. But if you have been frustrated for a long time, if you have been bullied for that for a long time, I can see how you can have this angry nature and you can have a lot of insecurities. It sucks to be rejected. But let me tell you, I know plenty of short guys who have gotten married. So it's not like short guys are absolutely undateable or undesirable. So it may take a while, I guess, because we have influences and a lot of people do succumb to those influences. Like the media, the ideal image is those guys who are like typical basketball player height, like 6 feet plus, you know? So that's what I'm saying. That's why I like to urge everyone to just introspect what is important to you and be grateful for the stuff that you do have and be careful about what you wish for. I'm frozen again. So, you do not need a person who's not going to contribute positively to your life. So, anyways, let me catch up with the comments since I'm pretty much starting to repeat myself now. Hi, Zamri, how are you doing? And yes, I saw the video. It's crazy that man snapped about his height. Nobody should be judged by their height, how you look, skin color, or how a person talks is much more. Talks so much more. Zamri, you cannot ever be ugly, pretty always, and your hair is super. Thanks a lot. Who says you are not beautiful? You are such. You are a very attractive lady. Well, thanks a lot. All I have to say on that matter is that I have come a long way because when I look at older pictures of me, everyone had an awkward stage. But let's face it, some kids are born just naturally really attractive, and I was definitely not the attractive kid. Especially the first pair of glasses that I ever picked out when I was in seventh grade, that absolutely destroyed me until I was in high school. And then I started to just pay attention to myself and be like, let me make choices for me as opposed to and think about me. That's when I became significantly happier. So I hate that this thing keeps crashing, but my phone provider or if the timer is still running, but I just like to stop when the timer stops too. But anyways, it is usually difficult to find a girl who's taller than a guy who's like 6 feet tall. I'm not saying that girls who are 6 feet tall don't exist. I have met them and I look at them and I'm like, I'm not intimidated by you, but I'm like, holy shit, what are you? You know? But I am pretty sure that guys also preferred for girls to be shorter. I cannot say that as a fact because I've never actually looked that up, but what I have looked up is that women do tend to prefer guys who are taller. It's just an innate thing of us. We associate that trait as you being a better mate, just healthier, stronger, and more protective. Just all of those righteous things that we need in a mate, pretty much. So yeah, this angry short guy, it almost sounds to me like he has constantly tried to hit up on girls, and just when he thinks he is making progress and gaining enough territory, some random tall guy just comes in and scoops the girl that he wants, and then that's really what his trauma is. Again, I cannot say that for a fact. I don't know him personally. I have not looked up stories of him outside of this bagel shop episode. But people like that, usually they just have something that they have been carrying within them for a long time, and they are super grown, but they haven't processed it yet. And all I can say is, as great as it is to have someone in your life who contributes and makes you a better person and you feel supported by, it is so important to be well independently, to be good with yourself without somebody else's support. I think that people should only begin to date once they have their individual selves sorted out. Because if you're going to get involved with someone in hopes that they're going to fix your life, then you are overwhelming that person and you're even treating them like they are a parent as opposed to being a partner, and that is not attractive. At least for me personally, if I had to like completely shape a guy into being, what can I say, a good partner, like, you got problems, all right? I'm not supposed to be your mom. I'm supposed to be your partner. So I can do some nurturing and just support and help because that's naturally what I do. That's how I contribute to society, especially my psychological makeup. That's just the kind of person I am. That's my gender role. But if I have to completely shape you as a person, that was the job of your parents. That should not be my job. I understand if you have traumas that are haunting you, I can help you fight them, but I cannot just turn you into someone. You have to be developed already by the time that you decide to start seeing someone. Because it's not fair for the other person to deal with your psychological issues. You need to be able to handle something alone. See what I mean? Another person in your life should be complementary, not should complement, not like fix you like that. I don't know if I made myself clear, but deep down I know what I want to say. I'm just having trouble articulating it. That man snack doesn't mean life will change for him. He just needs to pray to God and someone who doesn't really have a spiritual path either. And as someone to whom that is a very important thing, I would need to confirm that this guy definitely lacks that kind of mindset and discipline. Because for me, during my times of despair, I cannot imagine surviving without that spiritual connection going on. So, but anyways, you guys, that's pretty much all that I have to say. I may come back. I don't know if I'll do it like 5 minutes after the stream or maybe later tonight or something, but I will come back with something interesting that happened to me and maybe even recap on this old topic because it's interesting, that type of stuff that you learn from other people on a daily basis, and that way you guys can also chip in and let me know how you feel, how you think, and why you think that way. But anyways, should be pretty cool. Should be a intense learning experience even. But anyways, enough rambling. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon.